After finishing dandadan season 1, I have to say, it was worth the hype easily, but with a minute issue I'll get into by the end of the video. And I would normally start this off by going into the story, but I already did that in the first video, so you want to see that and also my first initial thoughts on the first 2 episodes, go ahead and watch it there. But I just want to get to everything that's pretty good with this fucking season right now. It's probably one of the best rom action series I think I've ever seen in my life. I do love a few other ones that are out there in the void that also are not anime, obviously, but this one is just pretty peak right now. Regardless if you want to talk about conversations or even the characterization of some of these characters, the setting and even the insanity that is the fucking plot for this show, easily one of the most hear me out shows I think I've ever had to watch, easily. But the first major thing I want to get into is something I always talk about, is the characters. I want to get to all the characters first. Obviously we had to start off with Ken himself, the man, the myth, the legend, Ken. I love Ken for a number of reasons, because one, he's extremely pure of heart. The kid actually wants to look for friendship. He's not looking for anything sinister and has any other motives. He generally is like one of those people where you see these people in IRL, obviously, you see these people in real life and they just are good people, but they just get the shit end of the stick, whether it be from bullying or whether it be from no one wanting to talk to them, no one wanting to date them, no one wanting to do anything with them at all, just because they're a little bit quirky. Okay, wait, not that quirky, but the thing that always makes me sad when it comes to Ken is he always doubts himself. He's extremely insecure whenever it comes to anything, whenever it comes to him trying to attempt to save a relationship or him trying to say something that is easily fixable, but the dark fickle abyss that is his mind always goes to the negative connotation, always goes to a negative place of no one wants to talk to me, no one wants to be around me, I shouldn't be here, I'm fucking up, I'm the worst. Could only really lead him down one path, which is... But there's always that thought in your mind that you should not be listening to, at least when it's a negative connotation or a negative thing that you should be doing, like, hey, harming yourself or harming others or even just doing something that would negatively affect you in the long run of things. Him not having just a basic structure of like a friend group to either help uplift you or help take you to places or help show you new things you've never seen before is really detrimental. It hurts a lot. But then you have Momo, a person that's extremely aggressive, hard-headed, determined, uplifting, and she cares you, she really will show it. And with both of them together, it's kind of perfect.
Want you to come get lost with me. Ask you one more time.
And I'm really hanging on to that kind of part because at first in the beginning, or at least in season 1, they do have their kinks when it comes to them kind of being together. Obviously they're not a confirmed couple, but they're damn fucking close to it, or they just don't put a fucking title into it yet.
Go ahead and kiss her already!
But then that's the things they might do, like either argue or either when they get brought up of like relationship being a thing, they're go get really nasty with each other and be like, oh, that'll never happen, or oh, fuck that, you're so fucking weird. But when we get down to it and we get down to the actual last ship, the actual real feeling that they feel for each other, it's really beautiful. They do what a lot of you people at home should be doing. They seem to listen to each other, they seem to care for each other, they seem to uplift each other, and all the negatives that they have on their own, they try to balance it out with each other. As an example, with his self-conscious when it comes to Ken. When it comes to Momo, she's obviously really hard-headed and she's always really aggressive to situations, so she always has to go up to him and be like, hey, do you want to do this? Hey, do you want to try to hang out? Or hey, do you want to do something at the school? And the same thing is reversed for Momo, because Momo's really aggressive. So then when it comes to her being extremely hard-headed when she sees a specific situation, Ken actually gets the confidence from time to time and he runs with it. He tries to do his best to actually get Momo back, or do his best to explain everything and communicate with her. But they're just like a flower bud. It's not ready to bloom yet, but when it blooms, you can see how beautiful that flower can really be. One of the things that I also noticed that I loved is when Ken does get his powers, or when he activates his powers, it feels like all his negative thoughts sort of get uplifted. They get out the fuck out of his way, and he sort of just says whatever is on his mind, or what he wanted to say sort of the whole time. Like, oh, this is really cool. Oh, this is a drag. Oh, I'm pretty sad. Oh, this is actually pretty rad. Also, another quick side note, I do love the action a lot in this series, regardless of how they want to do a set piece, whether it just be him running around or him going around the city trying to escape all these fucking yokai that are trying to chase him, or even when they were fighting inside the water and you see sort of this Godzilla thing just come out and start wrecking shit, or how they just win a fight, making connections to things that were happening earlier, like either with the mantis shrimp alien and then having an actual mantis shrimp, and having this comparison of like, hey, out of water he's stronger, in water he's actually, I think it's in water he's stronger, out of water he's not, and they completely use that against him. And even one of my favorite ones, which is the fact that he doesn't know how to throw a fucking punch, so he says fuck all this shit and uses his whole body to extend it into the person and hit them with a headbutt into the gut. peak. One character I'm probably gonna wait on to talk about, which is Gigi. I feel like it's way too early to talk about Gigi, so I'm just gonna sit there, and then wait for season 2 to come out, and then I'll have like a full explanation on him. But someone I do want to talk about is someone who thinks that they're the main protagonist, but is not. Shiratori. Shiratori is annoying as fucking hell at the beginning. Whether you're talking about her, just one, like I said before, thinking that she is the main protagonist.
Newsflash, asshole!
You're not. You're basic. She actually says this like kind of out her mouth. She's like, oh, I'm the chosen one. I'm the one that's supposed to take care of all these demons, because she thinks Momo is a demon for some odd reason. Or, oh my goodness, I am the one to basically take care of anything and everything, and I'm just so perfect and pretty. Everyone's gonna do what I say. But it's slowly but surely surprising me, because she's actually becoming way better than what she was at the very beginning. Whether that her having empathy for others and actually caring for one another, or her doing the right thing for once and being like, okay, this isn't the right thing. I'm gonna come clean and be honest and real to myself and the others that are around me. Her having a long way to go, but I'm really loving what they're doing with her so far. Then there's also the grandmother, which is ISA, right? Who is sort of kind of like the teacher and also knows the most about with spirits and kind of a little bit about aliens here and there, even though she doesn't really believe in that. But I do like her character a lot, whether it be just her just like fucking around when it comes to the kids, or her just like sort of laughing at a TV show that has nothing to do with anything. But I do love the dichotomy that she does have with her and Momo, her granddaughter, where it feels like she's always trying to teach her a lesson specifically, whether that one being to know your manners or be respectful to your elders, or that also being, hey, I know that for a fact that you said this thing in the past, I'm bringing it back up. And on the surface it seems like she's being an asshole holding a grudge, but in all reality she's just trying to remind her to be a respectful and really good person at the end of the day. I feel like she really cares and loves her, but it's not on the surface whatsoever. Now, I don't really know the name of it, and I don't really care to look for it. I really just wing it. But the thing that I would love to call, which is minis. Now, minis is something I like to call when in a show where you have something that is happening, whether it be a story or flashback, and it is done extremely well. It is fucking masterful, and this show has that in it. And what I'm referring to is where everyone can obviously guess, which is the Acrobat Silky. That itself was fucking done masterful. Now, with the Acrobat Silky is sort of like a yokai that was created from pure negativity and not wanting to move on. So with this specific yokai that was created, when we see their backstory, it's so fucking sad. Now, there's no words whatsoever, but all you see is sort of just imagery, as well as this person, although this woman being with her daughter and her just supplying her with any and everything that she needs, whether that her being working at a little shop or her being a prostitute and trying to get money for her daughter, and just taking care of her with every ounce of her body and being. Just for what I can only presume is her handlers for being a prostitute, maybe her pimps, just taking her daughter because she couldn't make any payments. With her just seeing her daughter leave in a car and her just running after the car but bleeding out because she was not only just like thrown around beaten, but she also fell into glass and just bled out on the floor and died. With her as a spirit wandering and seeing a little girl that is by the name of Shatori and saying, oh my goodness, I actually been missing my daughter the whole time, but confusing Shatori for her daughter and turning into the Acrobat Silky. I love this a lot for a few reasons. One, they did so much with doing so little, just showing you how this person felt with zero words being used. Showing like Shatori actually has a redeemable side by her going up to the Silky and hugging her and saying, I love you, mommy, helping her out find peace before she goes into the quote-unquote void where she might not be able to get recreated. Being the perfect thing for the word I call bittersweet. And lastly, the negative I wanted to talk about, which is the quote-unquote season 1. It, like, the way season 1 ends is not at all what they wanted. They probably wanted 24 whole episodes, but they just cut it in half randomly, either because one, it was getting leaked online, the first 6 episodes, and maybe they were scared of the leaks, and two, it probably wasn't even finished, so they just tried to push it out a little bit, and they should have done that. Should have just waited, had all 24 episodes out, and just slowly but surely pushing and trucking along the way. That would have been a lot better than just cutting it in half and quote-unquote calling it a season 1, and then having season 2 come out in like a year when it's not finished. We all know it's not finished whatsoever. But besides that, I highly suggest dandadan. Go ahead, go watch that shit. It's worth the hype. Everyone is actually correct for the first time in their lives. Dandadan is pretty peak. And like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.